YouTube using the playback speed. Now, this is kind of a superpower tool for learning riffs. And, most people have probably seen it and used it, but if by some chance you haven't, I'm going to show it to you, and I'm also going to share with you my experiences with transcribing songs and kind of learning riffs with it. So the gear, click on the gear, and you can pick playback speed. And most of the stuff I do is on custom. And so I'll often go to custom, and then you can use the arrow keys to work through that. And I'll start with a side note. A buddy of mine was quoting Paul Gilbert, and supposedly Paul Gilbert had said that if you want to know that you've got a song nailed so you can play it live, practice at 115% of speed, and you know that you'll have it nailed. I can see the logic in that. I'm usually kind of burnt out on a song by the time I can play it 100%. So to get to the point of playing it at 115, not something I do, but food for thought. If you want to know that you've nailed it, play it fast. So like I said, I usually go through custom, but I'm going to just stick with these preset numbers for some visuals for you, or easier visuals. So what's the use of playing a song with these different playback speeds? Well, I've got a solo queued up from here. And solos like this solo, like many others, are fast, and they're kind of hard to discern what the notes are doing. So you can drop it down to 75%, and you can hear it a little better. This dropping it in reminds me of an issue that I have with YouTube. And if someone out there happens to watch this video and knows an answer, put in the comments. And the issue I have is the fidelity of the song, the overall sound quality starts to diminish. So the downside is when you pick the slower speed, it starts to get staticky and you can't hear it as well. If you use like my phone app, doesn't do it. It's crystal clear. It doesn't lose fidelity. Maybe it has something to do with video and sound compression or something of that nature on here. And there may not be a way around it once it's been kind of rendered and uploaded to YouTube. But YouTube is so beneficial because, as I've mentioned in a couple of the other tips that I was giving on YouTube tools, is YouTube is just really easy to navigate. You can get to where you want on a song. You can slow it down quickly. You can rewind quickly. You can jump to a certain section quickly. And when you're playing something over and over, and maybe even 15, 20 times for that setting that you're sitting down and working on the riff, you don't want to be fumbling through. You want to get straight to it. So that's one of the powers of this tool. Once you set the speed slow, then you can just use your arrow keys and just keep repeating it. And you can hit the space bar and it'll start playing it. But the fidelity starts getting worse as you get lower and slower in speed. But the pitch doesn't change. So if you're trying to figure out a note in a solo, you will have much better luck, maybe at 50%, 45%. I've been down to the lowest on here, which is somewhere around 30%. And you got to work your way mentally down to those slow speeds, because if you start off at like 80, 75% and you go straight down to its lowest settings, it's probably not going to mentally register for you. But if you kind of work your way down, spend some time at 50%, maybe at 45%, and then down to like 30%, it starts to make a little more sense. So yeah, I'll give you a demonstration. So we've got a solo going on here, and let's pretend that it was too fast to comprehend what was going on. So we go to 50%. So this reminds me, when you're working on figuring out notes at these slower speeds, let's say probably anything south of 50%, there's a weird thing that starts happening. And sometimes you think there's notes being played that you didn't hear before. And sometimes it will show you that, and there really will be notes being played, but other times it's just that the wave files or the audio dynamic that's getting played at such a slow speed makes it almost sounds like they're almost sound like they're hitting it at a maybe a second note that you didn't think was in there. So what you need to do is if you're working on a riff and you think you've heard a note at those lower speeds, the lower playback speeds, double check it by listening to it at least at 75% and maybe at 100%. So when you hear something novel, something new that you hadn't experienced or wasn't in your tab or you weren't expecting and you didn't hear it anywhere else, play at the faster speeds because sometimes it's not there. It's just something that kind of stands out because it's slow, but you won't even hear it and they're not playing it at that faster speed. So cautionary warning, if you hear something unique at the slower speeds, listen, play it again at the faster speeds to see if it still sounds like it's there. Sometimes it is. And I think I'll stop it there and use this tool a lot if you're not already doing it. It's one of the more common features of YouTube, and it's very helpful for building up your dexterity.